On health care, you just heard David Plouffe say that he and the White House, the president, is very confident that the Supreme Court is going to uphold the president's plan. And a lot of independent analysts have said they see that what's most likely, legal Supreme Court followers, is a 6-3 or maybe even a 7-2 decision in favor of the president's plan. Do you agree?
Well, it depends on what the Supreme Court decides to rule on. The one issue that they may try to narrowly construe is the Anti-Injunction Act. And it's interesting, when Obamacare was being passed through Congress, President Obama adamantly said, this is not a tax. Now, when this bill is before the Supreme Court, President Obama is adamantly saying this is a tax, a complete flip-flop, and that's dealing with this issue of an Anti-Injunction Act. But the real issue that most Americans are concerned about is the constitutionality of the government forcing Americans to pay for a very expensive insurance policy, which some people are estimating could cost $20,000 a year for families. This is extremely expensive. Families won't have a choice. They're going to be forced to buy an insurance product that government tells them they have to purchase. If they don't, they'll have to pay a fine to the federal government. This is absurd. It's never happened before in the history of the country, and that's why most people today, 72% of the people, according to a Gallup poll, say this is unconstitutional. The people do not like this bill at all. They do not like the federal government forcing them to spend their money in a way that they don't want to spend it. It's wildly unpopular. It's why the Republicans gained control of the House in 2010. I believe it will be why we have a Republican president this year, because of President Obama's signature piece of legislation, Obamacare. He has to stand before the American people and defend it. And interestingly, George, Friday was the 2-year anniversary of his signing of Obamacare. Not a peep out of the President of the United States. He can't even go before the public and defend it. So our nominee will make this the #1 issue, and I think it's wildly unpopular and should be found unconstitutional, because it is.
Congresswoman Bachmann, thanks very much for your time this morning.
Thank you, George.